6 years, 3 teams, and 3 knee surgeries after being selected with the number 2 overall pick in the 2017 draft, Lonzo Ball's NBA career may just be done. So earlier this week, the Bulls announced that Lonzo would now be out for the upcoming 2023-24 NBA season. And after a meniscus tear in January of 2022, which later turned into 3 knee surgeries, Lonzo's future with the Bulls is uncertain. Going back to the start of his career, Lonzo was drafted with the number 2 overall pick by the Lakers in 2017, his hometown team, and he was looking to be paired with guys like Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma and create this fun young Lakers team which would rise and become a contender in a couple years. Although his rookie season was kind of shaky, Lonzo showed some signs of potential. However, before his second season, LeBron James signed with the Lakers, and then Lonzo lost his role in minutes and touches. Therefore, the Lakers wanted to also become a championship contender with LeBron, and having all these young players around him wasn't the move. So they traded Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram alongside other players and picks in return for Anthony Davis of the Pelicans. Although LeBron and AD would go on to win a championship in 2020, the Pelicans now had a trio of Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson. After 2 solid seasons in New Orleans where he established himself as a player, Ball signed a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Chicago Bulls to be their new starting point guard. He would join a team which also featured Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. This Bulls team would look to bring some playoff glory to a fan base which had struggled since the departure of Derrick Rose. On Jan 14, 2022, Lonzo Ball hurt his meniscus in his right knee, and officially later it was announced that he tore his meniscus. And at this point in the NBA season, the Bulls were tied for the number 1 seed with the Miami Heat. And Lonzo had been great for the Bulls. He was a great facilitator and playmaker to help out his scoring teammates of LaVine and DeRozan, but also he was a great defender. He averaged 1.5 steals per game, and he was able to pick up the team's best opposing guard on defense. And one of the biggest knocks on Lonzo was his 3-point shot, and he fixed his form and he actually shot really good. So up to this point in the season, he averaged 13 points per game, 5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 42.3 from the field, and 42.3 from 3. The last 2 efficiencies which are both career highs for him at this point. So after the meniscus tear, Lonzo opted to have arthroscopic surgery on his left knee, and he was expected to miss around 6 to 8 weeks. He'd actually tore a meniscus in July of 2018 when he was with the Lakers, and he came back in time for training camp. So at this point in time, I mentioned the Bulls were the number 1 seed in the East, and their record was 27-13. But fast forward a couple of months to March, Lonzo had been doing pretty good recovering from the surgery. However, a step back resulted in him having to restart the entire rehab process, and the Bulls finished the regular season 19-23 down the stretch without Lonzo. And obviously before the playoffs, the team announced that Lonzo was out for the rest of the year, and the Bulls were the 6th seed, playing the 3-seeded Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Giannis and the Bucks ran through the Bulls, winning the series 4-1. Although the team said and hoped that Lonzo would be back for training camp, that simply was not the case. Heading into training camp, people found out that Lonzo was actually not with the team in Chicago, but rather in LA, getting ready to have another surgery on his left knee. In a call with reporters, Lonzo explained that his only option was surgery because as of right now, he wasn't able to run or jump. And this type of news is very, very concerning. Hearing a basketball player can't run or jump, and it seems like all the progress that he'd made in rehab, it seems like he was getting better. All of it came back, not even to square one, even worse than that. It seemed like it was going to be a much bigger problem than we originally thought for Lonzo Ball. So in late September, Lonzo got the 2nd surgery on his left knee. And despite the fact that he was getting another surgery, the Bulls staff was still optimistic that he could return at some point this season. In January of 2023, Lonzo even said he was feeling better than he was a month or 2 ago, and even posted a video of him playing a little bit of basketball. In March, Lonzo got his 3rd surgery on his left knee. Now he's been able to walk better without crutches, and it seems like this surgery is his best path back towards the NBA. And that brings us to present day, June of 2023, where it was announced that Lonzo would be out for the 2023-24 season. And the GM of the Bulls said that the main priority for Lonzo was to rest and get better, and we know that he's going to be back on the basketball court, and we know he's going to be a great player. We're just prioritizing his return. And I can see why this makes sense. Originally, the rushed rehab was the reason that this became a much more blown out issue than it really had to be with Lonzo's meniscus and knee. But what does Lonzo's future entail? Will he ever play in a Bulls jersey again? Will he ever play in the NBA? I think without any other further complications or setbacks, Lonzo will return at some point in the 2024-25 NBA season, which is crazy to think that at that point, it'll be around 3 years since he played his last NBA game. And at that point in his career, he will be 27 years old, which is crazy to think about. Another example of a player who's really good and had to retire because of lingering issues was Brandon Roy, who also retired at age 27, but when he played, he was one of the most special players we knew. And that leads us to the question, how good will Lonzo be if he does return? I think with any injury of this big caliber, Lonzo's playstyle is going to get affected. Can he still be a great NBA player? Sure, yes, it might be in a different way than we expected. I think he's going to lose out on some of the athleticism because of his knee having a bad injury in the meniscus, but he can still be a great playmaker, he can still be a great shooter, and I think the Bulls need Lonzo. That's why, if you've noticed, the Bulls have not been good at all the past 2 seasons, and Lonzo missing is one of the big reasons why. Without a true point guard that brings the abilities of Lonzo to fit around guys like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Vucevic, the Bulls team has struggled. They missed the playoffs this year by losing in the play-in to the Miami Heat, and like I mentioned last season, they lost in the first round to the Bucks in 5 games. This upcoming season, am I confident in the Bulls? I think they're going to be around the same 7 to 10-ish seed, a play-in type team. I think overall the Lonzo Ball injury situation is scary, given the fact that he will not play an NBA game for a period of about 3 years, and there's a chance he might not even return to the NBA. This has taken a pretty big hit on the Bulls, who signed him to a massive contract, and he did live up to that contract until this injury, which unfortunately leaves the Bulls in a bad position for their contention window. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed this video breaking down how Lonzo Ball's career might be in jeopardy after his knee injury and surgeries. Bye, and I'll catch you in the next one.